In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to multiply a polynomial by a monomial algebraically. And in order to do so, we will be using the distributive property. The distributive property allows you to expand algebraic expressions. So let me show you how that works. So the first example I'll show you is negative 3x times 2x plus 5. So how the distributive property works is we're going to first identify which of these two polynomials in my multiplication expression is the monomial. So remember, monomial means one term only. So in this multiplication expression, my monomial would be this one right here, negative 3x, one term only. And I'm going to take that and I'm going to multiply it by each term in my polynomial. So I'll multiply it by the 2x, and then I'll multiply it by the positive 5. So first of all, I'm going to go negative 3x times 2x, and then I'm going to do negative 3x back to my monomial times positive 5. Okay, and now what I'm left with is monomial multiplication, which we already know how to do. Let's see here. Okay. So first I always do numerical coefficient times numerical coefficient. So I've got negative 3 times positive 2. So mismatch, so I know it's going to be a negative. 3 times 2 is 6. Oops, that's not a good marker. 6. And now I do letter times letter, or variable times variable. X times x. I'm doubling up my x's, so that turns into x squared. So that takes care of the first distribution. So now I go on to the second distribution, my negative 3x times 5. So numerical coefficients first. I've got negative times a positive. So again, mismatch is going to be a negative. And I've got 3 times 5, which gives me 15. 1x here, no x's here. So because I'm not doubling up, it just stays as x. So that's my final answer, 6x squared minus 15x. So remember, when you're doing distributive property, or in other words, when you're expanding out your algebraic expressions, the whole point is to get it from being two polynomials to just one. So we actually are multiplying it out to get to a single polynomial. So anytime if the question says anything like simplify, or if it says expand or multiply or use distributive property, okay, all of those words mean the same thing. It means that they want you to get from having two polynomials being multiplied together to just one. Okay, get to an answer. And we can't go any further than this because these are not like terms, so we can't actually subtract these. One is x squared, the other one is x. So that's our final answer right there. So let me show you another example. Okay, this one we have 11 minus x times 5y. So we need to start the same way. Okay, we need to start by identifying which of these two is the monomial, one term. So in this case, that's going to be 5y, one term. So I'm going to take that and distribute it out. So I'll multiply it by the 11, and then I'll multiply it by the negative x. So 5y times 11, numbers first, 5 times 11 is 55. Y times nothing, it's just going to stay as y. Okay, now on to the next distribution. So I've got 5y times negative x. Okay, so what you need to remember here is anytime you have a variable with no coefficient, there's automatically a 1 there. So numbers first, this would be 5 times negative 1, mismatch, so negative. 5 times 1 is just 5, and then y times x, nothing's doubling up here, so it just turns into xy. So I've got 55y minus 5xy. And I can't go any further than that because these are not like terms, so I can't actually subtract these. That's it. That's my final answer. And I've undone that multiplication and taken it into a single polynomial. So that's the whole point of expanding or simplifying or using distributive property. That's what they're asking you to do. Okay, so now I'm going to do an example that has fractions in it, because this is where it always gets a little bit trickier for students. So in this example, I have 2 over 3m plus 4 times negative 9m. So really, it's just the same steps. So we need to identify the monomial, one term, there it is. We're going to distribute it. So times it by the first term in the polynomial and then by the second term in the polynomial. So this time it gets a bit tricky because I've got a whole number being times by a fraction. So I've got negative 9m, and I'm having to times that by 2 over 3m. Okay, apples and oranges here. Okay, anytime you have to work with things that are not in the same form, it always makes it a little bit more complicated. So what we can do is we can easily change any whole number into a fraction by just putting it over 1. Okay, so now I can do fraction multiplication, so top times top, bottom times bottom. But before I even do that, just to make sure I keep my numbers as low as I can, I'm going to try and cross cancel. So this way, definitely can't because 1 is already as low as we can go. But between 3 and 9, well, those are both divisible by 3. So 3 divided by 3 gives me 1. Negative 9 divided by 3 gives me negative 3. Okay. And let's expand out the other one too. So back to our monomial, negative 9m times positive 4. So now we can go top times top, so negative 3 times 2, mismatch, so negative. 3 times 2, 6. 1 times 1 is 1, and m times m squared. Oops, I'm running out of room here. On to the second distribution, my negative 9m times 4. So negative 9 times 4, mismatch, so that's going to also be a negative. And then 9 times 4, 36. M times nothing, m. This should all be in one line. I just ran out of space there. And the other thing that you should notice here is we've got an improper fraction. You don't ever want to leave an improper fraction in your answer. Okay, best practice is going to be to divide that out. And in this case, it's over 1. So basically, we're just going to be getting rid of that denominator. So my final answer is going to be negative 6m squared minus 36m. Final answer right there. Okay, so anytime you're having to multiply a whole by a fraction, just turn that whole into a fraction over 1. Any whole, you can make a fraction over 1. I think maybe I'll show you one more here. So last one, let's make it another fraction one. So we've got negative 4 over 3x times 6x minus 12. Okay, so same starting point. Let's identify the monomial. This one right here, one term. So we're going to times it by the first term, times it by the second term. Okay, so right away, I've got negative 4 over 3x times 6x. Okay, apples and oranges are here again, different forms. So what can we do? Put the whole over 1. Okay, do the second distribution, back to my monomial, negative 4 over 3x times negative 12. Again, different forms. Put the whole over 1. Okay, so now you could either go right away and just do top times top, bottom times bottom. But I always like to cross cancel first, just to get my fractions as low as I can so that my answers are lower. Then you end up with less work to do in the end. So if I go across this way, okay, can't cross cancel for sure there because 1 is already as low as we can go. Let's look this way though. 3 and 6. Yeah, both divisible by 3. So 3 divided by 3, 1. 6 divided by 3, 2. Let's look at this one. So definitely not this way. 1's as low as we can go. But how about this way? 3 and negative 12. Yep, those are both divisible by 3. So 3 divided by 3, 1. Negative 12 divided by 3 would be negative 4. Okay, so now I'm going to actually multiply those out. So I've got negative 4 times positive 2, mismatch. 4 times 2 is 8. And 1 times 1, 1. And don't forget about your variables, because I have an x times an x here. So that makes x squared. I'm doubling up on x's. Now on to this one. So top times top, I've got a negative 4 times a negative 4. Match. So that turns into a positive. 4 times 4, 16. 1 times 1, 1. X times nothing. It's just going to be x. And there's one more thing I need to do before I call it my final answer. And that is get rid of these improper fractions. And when it's over 1, that's super easy because you can actually just take away those ones. So final answer here. I'm just going to have negative 8 x squared plus 16x. And that's it. So thanks for watching this video. Bye.